Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny Berba. I'm doing this video because actually a lot of people have asked me this and I've never done it. It slipped my mind and they've asked me if I could share a bit of my backstory and just explain how I went from where I was to where I am now. Not in a way to show off, because I'm doing well, but I've still got a lot more I want to achieve. But to give you guys, to just tell you what I went through, so you would understand that I didn't have it easy, and it wasn't just like I got confident, I got good, and I said, let me run a business and start teaching. It was far from that. It was a very progressive, it took quite a few years, and to be honest, it was a nightmare, but it was good. So we're going to go for a walk, go for a nice walk, because I've got to sort of go back into my head and recite where I was at my worst. So where am I now? I'm 30 now. I'm going to be 31 very soon in September. So let me take you back to age 22, when I was at my most depressed point in life. I never had a job. I was on benefits. I was on the dole. I never had a girlfriend. I didn't have any girls. Obviously, I wasn't getting laid, of course. Before that, I lost my virginity at 21, and I lost my virginity to a prostitute. So that's a bit nuts. And then after the prostitute, I met a girl at 22 and I got my first proper lay. But then after that, I hit rock bottom. I didn't have a job, and I guess I didn't have any purpose, and I was really pissed off, really fucking pissed off, and really stressed out and really depressed. But the problem was I was the problem. I didn't know I was the problem. Maybe unconsciously I knew. I didn't want to admit it to myself. So what I done was, maybe you guys are going to recognise a bit of this, I blamed other people. It was everyone else's fault but mine. So I blamed my friends, kind of blamed my family, I blamed the world, definitely blamed the world. Society was it was society's fault. I blamed women as well. So, even talking about it's stressful. So I was 22 and I remember just thinking, right, fucking hell, I'm 22, all my friends are in university, they're all intelligent, some of them have got girlfriends, most of them did have girlfriends. Of course, obviously, then you start feeling like shit, you feel worse. But this is what I did, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I had run away from my problems, so I was living in Fulham Broadway at the time, in a real shitty place. It was a lovely area. So when I told people I live in Fulham, like, oh, Fulham's amazing, it's a rich place, blah, blah, blah. It was just like a little studio flat. So all I'd done was go to the job centre, collect my paycheck, come home, buy snacks, watch DVDs, boxing, films, movies, all that, just sit at home, stressed out, watching porn. To be honest, I wasn't that much of an avid porn watcher. That would just stress me out more. But all I was thinking was, I am fucked. Like, it's not going to things can't get better for me, and this is it. I have to accept this. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, how did I get from that place to where I am now? Well, like in every story, in every warrior's journey, it doesn't happen overnight. People think that. Sometimes things are marketed to look that way. It wasn't anything close. Now, before women, I didn't really give a shit about getting good at women, because obviously I wanted a girlfriend. I actually wanted a job. A job for me was number one. So maybe you guys can relate to this, because I do get a lot of emails from guys saying that they can't find a job, it's affecting their confidence. I understand, and I think when you don't have a job, I totally agree. It don't matter how much game you've got, it can affect your confidence. So because I didn't have a job, I felt it kind of gave me low self-esteem, so I didn't want to socialise with people, because I knew if the question came up, what do you do? I don't have a job, I'd feel bad, it would get me angry, because when you're insecure, you get a mixture of feeling bad and then feeling angry. You always want to defend it, you want to justify your bad position in life. So for me, I was like, right, let me get a job first. If I get a job, then I can get laid, then I can get a girlfriend, and then I can move in my own place and just live the general structured, happy life that society sort of presents us, and most people do. I'm not saying it's bad, not saying it's good. So that's what I thought. But then, I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I had no idea. And I always was interested in boxing, sports, so I thought I want to do boxing. But obviously, I started very late, so the chances of me being a world champion were quite slim. But I still believed in myself, because that was one area where I was pretty talented. From a young age, my dad used to hold his hands up, I used to hit his hands, so I developed quite a good punch. I knew that I kind of had good technique. So I thought, fuck it, I'm not going to get a job. I want to be the next Joe Kawasaki, Ricky Hatton, Tyson. I want to be a fighter, because I was angry with life. So my way of challenging the anger was to fight. Now, I never started trouble because I was bullied in school. You name it. I've been through it all. Bullying, I've been beaten up, I've been taking the piss out of everything I've been through. So yeah, so all the anger was there, all these insecurities, and of course, you don't feel attractive. So my fashion was bad, I dressed like shit, on the dole, no direction, but wanting to be a boxer. So obviously, I'm sure it's like, and I'm not being narcissistic or egotistical, when you guys watch my videos now, it gives you that rush of inspiration, which is beautiful. When I watched the boxing, Ricky Hatton, it gave me that feeling of, fuck man, I can do it. I can be like, you know, come from the gutter and work my way up. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going down the gym. So I went down to the boxing gym and I started boxing, and I started to feel good about myself for a while, started to build my confidence, definitely could feel it. Wasn't approaching girls, but I was just feeling good. You know, when you're just the first steps there, you're feeling good, but my parents are still like, well, you need to find a job because boxing doesn't really, there's no money in it unless you're a champion. And when you're an amateur boxer, you don't get paid. You actually have to pay to go to the gym, just cross here. You've got to pay to eat right, so it becomes expensive, and it's hard to do that on the budget they give you on the dole. So for me, that's where the depression really started. And then what happened was I got quite tough in my own idea of what tough is, because I've been sparring down the gym, I've been boxing, I've been training, I got in good shape, I had a six-pack, I was really in shape, but I still didn't feel confident to approach girls. So the sort of alpha side, I thought I fulfilled that, I felt strong, but in one sense I was completely weak and I didn't even know it. Like, mentally was weak, so physically strong, can throw punches, can knock people out. So this is the problem. When I was going out to nightclubs, it was crazy. I never looked for trouble, but I'd always manage to get into trouble. And quite often or not, I'd be knocking people out, I'd get into fights. Hard to believe now, I know, because I'm not a trouble person. But it all come from feeling depressed and just feeling angry. And I wouldn't go and start trouble, but it would always come my way. And I'd never get the girls. And all my friends I'd go out with, you always get one friend, don't you, in a social circle that is just good with women. He gets laid. And he just doesn't seem like he's making an effort. And it's always, quote unquote, the bad boy. So I had a friend who's a bit of a bad boy, I won't name him, there's no point, whatever, confidentiality. He would get with the girls, again, I wouldn't. But anytime it came where a girl would confront me, I would push it away. So it's that thing what I talked about before, it's the fear of success, because you don't feel good enough for what you want, so you're angry that you can't get it, but when you do get it, you don't trust yourself, so you push it away. So it's a really, really horrible paradigm to be in. You guys might be able to relate to it. So you can already hear from what I've said to you, not having a job, not having any ambition, being angry, fighting all the time. I'm not going to go and over-dramatise it. I came from the roughest area and I got shot 5 times. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. It was bad in my own head. And I think that's as bad as it can get. It doesn't matter on the outside. What's going up here is really what shapes your reality. So reality was bad, my thinking was bad, my self-talk was bad, I was depressed. But then I'd get these crazy highs, maybe it's a bit of bipolar, where I'd be happy for like a day and then just depressed for a month. So that was all going on at the age of 22, at the age of 10, age of 22. And then when I look back now, I don't know if going to the boxing gym helped me, I don't know if it hindered me. I'm going to probably say it probably did help me, it toughened me up, it gave me that, you know, going in the gym, being regimental, having sort of someone to tell you what to do, overcoming the fears. Maybe that helps me when I'm approaching girls today, I don't know, maybe a psychologist could explain it better. But yeah, it was just a real bad place. And every time I meet friends, they would ask me, because some of them were good friends actually, a good friend would do this, they'd say, come on Johnny, like get a fucking job, man, like come on man, you're a decent guy, you're talented. I just didn't believe in myself, and when you've got no reference, it's quite hard to, where can you prove it? Because you haven't got qualifications. But then I realised, you get to a point you just say, I can't take it no more. Weren't suicidal, luckily, but it's not funny. I know a lot of guys, some of you guys actually maybe, and I hope you're not thinking of doing something like that. Maybe this video could really help you. I weren't suicidal, I was very rock bottom. So what happened was, when I started going down the gym, as I said, I got more confident in one way, but I became more in my shell because girls still didn't come up to me. I couldn't get laid, I couldn't meet girls. I still felt socially awkward. The only time I was comfortable, which is funny, was in the boxing gym with the boxers. So I was confident in what I did, it was situational confidence. When I came back into my own life, I couldn't deal with it, it was too much pressure. Eventually, I did get a job. A family member got me a job as a postman. That was my first proper job, and that was really good. I really appreciate that. So I worked postman for 2 years, but I still felt this is not me. Nothing against a postman, an honest wage. I want to do something better with my life. The funny thing is, you guys probably relate to this, although I was negative and depressed and had no ambition, I was very ambitious in one sense. I was fantasizing on the idea of being successful. I always had a feeling when I was a kid that I'll do something big, something inspirational, but I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was boxing. It wasn't. It turned out, had an amateur fight, I got knocked out, stage fright, I couldn't deliver on the night. It's a bit like when you're at home listening to theory, you've got it all in your head, you know it inside out, but when you go up to a girl, it goes wrong, and you just freeze, stage fright. So I lost in boxing, broke my confidence. It was stupid because I was still talented. My coach said, don't matter you lost. Losing an amateur fight don't mean anything, but I took it personal, of course. I thought I was rubbish, quit the gym, never went back. I actually went back, done some sparring, got knocked down in sparring and went, that's it, I'm no good, I've lost it. I never went back again. Then, obviously, I've spoke about this before. I'd met Floyd, the guy I spoke about in my blog and stuff. I met him down the weightlifting gym, because then I went from boxing to weightlifting. I thought, let me give that a try. I'd met Floyd, I'd seen him in action. I was really impressed at the fact that he didn't have much going on in his life, but he had the ability to communicate with women. Really sociable guy, really positive, just really fun-loving. He didn't teach me per se, he didn't take me on a boot camp, but he did, in a sense, he did teach me. He taught me how to come out of my shell and take the first step. And definitely, I'm not going to say it changed overnight, but he definitely got me started and he just changed my thinking. I said to myself, hang on a minute, if he's doing it, if he can get a phone number, if he can talk to girls everywhere, why can't I do it? He's not massively good looking. He wouldn't be upset with that. He's a lovely chap. I love him to bits. He's my mate. But again, like myself, not model looking, but good at the ladies. And he was getting laid and he was on benefits. And I thought, if he's doing it with no money, it must be in my own head. So obviously, I can't get the full order of the story, guys. This ain't structured, so forgive me. I haven't written all this down. I'm just riffing. So after that, I got introduced from a friend from the pickup stuff, the material, the mystery method, all of the American stuff. Didn't believe in none of it because I'm a proper English lad. I'm a proper Cockney. I thought this is rubbish. This is for fucking, this is not for real men. But after a while, my friend kept talking about it. I got curious, as you do. So I checked it out. I must admit, I was captivated with it. I was seduced by these guys because they were so charismatic, they were so confident, they seemed to be confident, they were so sure in what they were saying. I bought into it. Again, I'm not saying they're wrong and I'm right because they've helped a lot of people. I'm just saying it got me at the time, it sold it to me. When you're sold on the idea, you think this is it, this is my saviour. So, like I've spoken about in my other video, all the natural stuff I learnt with Floyd on the street to start with, I just sort of thought, no, that's not the way to do it. It must be the way these guys are telling me to do it, because these guys are not great looking. They're saying they're getting laid with models and beautiful girls and they can get any girl they want. I want some of this. So I thought, right, let me learn this regimental stuff, the structured stuff. So I started delving in that. To be honest, I will give it some credit. What it did do for me was, it did take my mind off the depression and all that other stuff. And in a sense, I suppose at least it got me motivated to take action. So from Floyd, from the PUA stuff, PA community, it did get me started, and sometimes I think that's all a guy needs, but depending on your personality, I just need to kick up the arse and to get started. I now later believe I was always good with women, I always knew how to do it, I just didn't have the confidence, I didn't do it. Same case for most of you guys, same case for the guys I work with, they just don't know how to bring their personality out. So you can start to see things are picking up slowly, aren't they? The depressing story's flipping over. But again, it was sort of one step forward, one step back. Then eventually, I lost my job as a postman, I got fired. Actually, I forgot to mention before that, I've been in trouble with the police. Small level of drugs that I was dealing, I got caught with that. And I've done a lot of community service. So again, that was a wake-up call. Parents were really freaked out. So, it was a very rocky road, but I always felt I was a good person, I was a good guy, I was a nice guy, I wanted to do the right thing. But just a little bit depressed, bullied at school and all that stuff, it fucked me up. So, meeting Floyd, got into these book stuff, was online like you guys are, avidly watching the material, I was reading, I was taking notes. I remember at the time my brother was saying, what are you doing? I was writing down scripts, what I'm gonna say to the girl, what if she says this, getting the routines down. And I must admit, to start with, it was exciting. It really did get me intrigued, and I was focusing on human interaction. And when you do start focusing, don't get me wrong, you do notice subtle signs, you can't deny that. There are certain behaviours that women will respond to. But what you fail to realise when you delve into this is, you're not getting to know yourself, and that's what I realised. And eventually, I will credit the mystery method, because it got me, I didn't get my first lay. My first lay came from a girl I met through the job centre of all places, but I put that down to Floyd. It was hanging around Floyd, picking up off his vibe. But my first sort of like aggressive lay came from, I guess, all right, I'll say it, you've warmed me up, the mystery method. I'd structured everything, I've took her back, all of that push and pull stuff, and God, it was a nightmare. Slept with her, but I didn't feel any connection. And after, I felt more insecure than when I met her. So that left me a bit confused. That's when I went, hang on a minute, I weren't doing this stuff before when I'd slept with a girl. I didn't have many lays under my belt then at 22, but I'd had a few girls, and I don't feel good and I don't feel congruent. At the time, I didn't know what congruent meant. Wasn't being myself, and I knew, you just know intuitively you're not being yourself, and you think to yourself, I can't keep the act up for much longer. They're going to find me out. Like Alan Watts says, everyone's going to find out you're a phony. That's why a big human fear, that people find out. If only people knew what I was really like. I love that quote. So that's what I was kind of feeling. And then I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, Floyd's not doing this, my other mates are not doing it. I don't want to do this fake stuff. So I think it's not just about me saying I want to be honest with women. I want to have honesty in my own life. I want to find congruency. I want to start being honest with what job I want to do. So I thought, I don't want to be a postman. I'd worked as a porter. I'd worked on building sites. I'd worked as a labourer. So this whole job thing was really affecting my life. So I think I nailed down what my limiting belief was. I never had a path in life. So I thought, what's the point of, getting a girlfriend? She's not going to want to be with a guy who doesn't have a path, who doesn't have a passion, obviously who doesn't have a job. It's just not going to be attractive. And it's kind of true if you're honest with yourself. Most girls are not going to want that. But don't get all like, oh my God, I haven't got a job. You can still get laid, but it's kind of hard to keep them around. So things like changed for me. Let's fast forward. Sort of 24, 25, that was when it really started to change. I did start working on my fashion. I'd been practicing a hell of a lot in the clubs. I'd been getting more confident, more congruent. I started to get a lot of phone numbers. I wasn't getting laid every week. I'm not going to start fucking marketing and saying every week a new girl, because it wasn't like that. It was very infrequent, but it was more consistency. And my mates were noticing the change, and they were very supportive, to be fair to them. Some of them are not with me now, but massive thanks to them for the support they gave me at the time, putting out with me. Some of the friends were a bit negative. They weren't friends from the beginning, but that's fine. I can't criticise because I've been that way as well. But I think I just started to get more positive. Getting a job, more consistency of work. I started to do a marketing job where I'd go around London and answer different surveys, and that was really good for me because we'd sit in a room of 10 people, and that was my first sort of go at public speaking. I started to feel quite good about myself. So once I started getting consistent, income, having your own place, it did start getting better for me, and I found that I started to develop what I call now and teach the vibe, getting into state. I'd start going out, and without knowing it, my little ritual was just to start mingling, flirting, and go to another girl, and go to another girl, and go to another girl, and then I'd get my state up, and then I'd get a result. I'd get laid, or I'd get a number, I'd get dates, and then I'd start getting consistency. And it was, I'm missing bits here, so please forgive me, because it's 10 years, so I can't get everything, but I'm trying to get as accurate as I can. That's when I got interested in street game, because Floyd had been doing it. I started on the street officially at 22, so you guys that didn't know that. So my story ain't some whacked up backstory to sell a fucking product. This is the truth. I started at 22 on the street with Floyd, but I'd come away and done the nightclub, and then I'd heard about other day gamers, credit to them. So I'd heard about guys like Yad. I'd heard about the other guys that are doing it, but Yad was one of the guys I heard about, and I thought, wow, this is a guy that's doing what Floyd was doing, what I was doing, but he's doing it more like predatory, actually going out being calculated. I wasn't really doing it that way. I was just like, on the street, if you see a girl, then you run up and try and get a number, and if it happens, it happens. But I didn't really know you could really get it down to an art form. So, I am going to say thanks to some of the guys like Yad and Mystery, that kind of inspired me, as well as I don't agree with everything they do, and I don't have to, and they don't need to agree with everything I do, because we're all individuals. We've got to find what works for us. But I will say thanks to the guys who got me started and the guys who gave me ideas, and I've got respect for anyone that goes out and does this and teaches it, because it's not easy, it's hard to get this and work at it. So I started to get better. I'd met some of the other coaches, and I was inspired to all these big personalities, and I would meet them, and then I'd think, fucking hell, they're like they're normal people like me. And then I never realised one day I'd kind of be where they are, I'd be teaching, and obviously people would see me and think, wow, he's doing that, and it's Johnny and whatever, and then meet me and think I'm a really normal person, really down to earth. Well, I hope so anyway. If you don't like me, that's tough. But anyway, so that was when I thought, I like the idea of this. I don't want to go into clubs no more. So again, not disrespect to Mystery, because he's good at what he does. I thought, I ain't faking it no more. I'm going out on the street, direct approach, going up to girls. You look nice. Where are you from? Do you want to go out? That was really my method. And then I realised, don't need lines. You don't need a blueprint. I don't care what anyone says. Maybe you can benefit from it if you're that type of guy who needs a structure. But in my experience, from what I've learned and my own results, all I need is to get into a good mood. So when you guys hear me talking about all these sophisticated words like state, presence, God within, the universe, that's just me getting spiritual. And you know, that, I like that part of me, but I'm very practical. All I had to do when I went out in London was get in a good mood. I'm going to answer a quick question through the backstory. Did I have a wingman? Yes, I had loads of wingmen when I started. Did a wingman help? Yes and no. Helps you, but it can hinder you. Solo game was where I got the essence from this, and I developed and I became good at what I'm doing now. I became really good, and that's not bragging. I got to the point where every day I could go out, I could get one date with a girl. So that's 7 dates a week. That's worked out 7, 14, 20, 28. And to get laid, I'd have to probably go on about 4 or 5 dates. So for me, that was amazing. And I think if you tally that in numbers, that is amazing. Work it out for yourself. And that's not a general rule for every time I meet a girl, but I started to get it down to a science. And I thought, I've got something good here. And at that time, I had no ideas of turning it into a business. I just thought, I loved it. I was showing my friends, I was teaching for free. And then it's funny because relationships started to get better with parents. It started to get better with friends. And I didn't realize that it wasn't really game, it wasn't really getting a job, it was just me working on myself. So I needed these things. So maybe having a structure or having, you know, no structure, just having intent in my life and purpose really changed my life. So that's why I'm like, when I'm talking about it, you can see it in my face, I'm happy because when I go over it, it was like, it was worth it, it was worth it. So when you guys are writing to me saying, oh, you don't understand me, like you're good looking, you're tall, that's what, like you're fucking wrong, you don't understand me, I do understand you, I've been through it. And I've gone through a lot, and I've missed out a lot of other stuff there that I'm not going to go into. Fights, violence, depression. Yeah, there was the odd time, I'm not afraid to admit it, where I sit in my house and just break down into tears, just be crying on my own, just in tears, frustration, anger, and I wouldn't tell anyone. But again, at the time I should have got help, should have went to a counsellor, should have got coaching, whatever, but I couldn't afford it anyway. I didn't really know about all this stuff. So my point is, you can make the changes, it's all up to you, and I did it. It started to build up, and then I can keep going. Then, yeah, I got a reputation by my mates being really good. They were my mates were really happy, but they were shocked. They were like, they would laugh because it was like, he's doing that thing again. He's just going up on the street. But to be honest, they really took me seriously when they started seeing me dating girls. That's when they went, whoa, this is working. It ain't just some thing where you're going out putting on an act. So yes, for a while, I did fake it until you make it, but I hated it. So that's why I say now, don't believe in that, practice till you make it. So it's basically me saying, I made all these mistakes. If you don't want to make these mistakes, listen to what I'm going to tell you or what the other guys are telling you, because there's going to be a lot of similarity in comparison to what we teach and what we say. For those of you, for the guys who are not just marketers, who actually do go out, get laid, get results, and are passionate about helping people to change their lives and not just sell a fucking product. I don't mind people selling a product. There's nothing wrong with that because I buy a product. But if it's not coming from truth, if it's not coming from something that's from experience, that's actually going to help people. So when people do go, well, I'm going to spend 50 quid or 100 quid, it's actually going to help me, then there's no trickery involved. The only trickery I don't like is when people are not honest. But that's another story. Again, it's up to people what they choose to believe and what they choose not to believe. So I am real, my story is real, everything you see is real, there's no trickery, there's no hiring girls out. I'm just not that sort of person. I couldn't do it, I couldn't lie to myself. So my story is real, from rags to riches. Then I started to upload videos on YouTube. I was actually shocked that I got like 10 views and a like. I was like, wow, like someone likes my video, people are commenting. So of course, I just got the inspiration. So if it wasn't for the fans, if it weren't people being inspired by my work, I wouldn't be here today talking to camera doing it. So then one thing led to another. A guy said, I'll pay you £15 an hour. I went, you don't even have to, just get me a meal, get me some food. I weren't greedy, I weren't business minded. So I've done it because I love it, and that's why I'm passionate now, that's why I love what I do. And for those of you who don't know, I keep reminding you, me and Danny, we actually paid to put these videos. I paid Danny to go and do this because it's a lot of work he has to do, editing, filming, running up and down the street, the hours we spend trying to answer your questions and get the best stuff out and try and sometimes take a risk. So, you know, I'm sure you appreciate what we do. So I think you're going to get a lot from that. Probably a lot more than an advice video. If not, you just think, oh God, this story's boring. Go and make a cup of tea, go out and approach. So that's really my story. And you can read between the lines. It was a guy that had no belief, was bullied, had limiting beliefs, had no career, no job, lived in a shithole. So what was my advantage? What, being tall, being 6'1", it didn't mean shit. 6'1", depressed, no job, no girl's gonna want you. So that's all bollocks. So I overcome my limiting beliefs. Now, how did I do it? So this is how I done it. Challenged every fear I had to. I had a fear of fighting, went down the boxing gym. I had a fear of social interaction, went out and started socialising. Did it feel weird? Yes, it felt weird. It felt fucking strange. When you're socially awkward and you're out with people that are confident, you will feel awkward. You will feel, oh, am I standing right? You will have that jittery, nervous feeling. But I'm so glad I've done it because now I feel confident, I feel congruent. I can be in situations and I'm not afraid to make mistakes. But it all comes from taking action, taking action, taking action, taking action, taking action. Going out and doing this, having experiences. My whole life's been about failure. That's why I'm successful. That's why I'm going to continue to be successful. And I know I'm going to be successful. I'm confident in what I do and I'm passionate. If I fail, nothing to lose. I failed my whole life anyway. That's my attitude, failure to success, taking the positives. That's why now I am running up and down the street with a massive smile on my face. Look, here we go, the rain comes. So that's why I'm positive, because I've been through it. And the way I overcome all these fears and limiting beliefs was going out into the world and testing them and challenging them. And I will add that when I found out about communities of other guys going through what I'm going, it gave me massive confidence, because when you know someone else is feeling like you're feeling, you know you're not on your own. So that's really it. That's my story. That's how I got here. And from teaching, more comments on YouTube, more inspiration, running cheap boot camps, doing one-on-one. I served my apprentice. Boy, did I do my T-boy service, teaching for free. Loved what I'd done. Now, of course, I charge. I've got to make a living. Of course, people got to pay me. It's exchange of service, but I love what I'm doing. I'm more passionate than when I started. If I could go back and talk to myself at 22, what would I say? Get the fuck out of bed. Stop being a lazy bastard. Stop blaming the world. It's your fault. Have a shave. Go out. Look for a job. There are plenty of jobs out there. It's hard. What's easy? That's what my dad used to say. Jonathan, what good is easy? Nothing's good as easy, so go out, take action, you can make the changes, and there's no excuse, I promise you. It's all in your head and you're creating the whole thing. The upside, how did it change? Loads of women in my life. I can go anywhere, people know me, not everywhere, but a lot of places people know me. People are happy to socialise with me. When I talk to people now, I'm giving value rather than sucking it, because I'm a positive guy. Am I perfect? No, I'm not afraid to make mistakes, so that's why I'm confident. So when you say, how come he's confident and I'm not? There you have it. So, like and subscribe, that's a crazy one. Subscribe, like and subscribe. Enjoy the process. There you have it. For you guys who don't know a bit about me, you've met me, you know who I am, you know my story. Go and make it happen. No excuses. Enjoy the process.